right, and we're back for another episode of the Lakers Fast Break podcast. It's Gerald Glassford coming right back at you here from Lakers Fast Break, Pop Culture Cosmos, Inside Sports Fantasy Football, and Game Source. We truly appreciate everyone out there listening to all of our shows. And if you can, please give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. Plus, if you can like, share, subscribe, or do whatever you can to go ahead and help support us right here at the Lakers Fast Break. Lakerholics.com, Pop Culture Cosmos, Inside Sports Fantasy Football, Game Source, and everything that we do there, plus the great guys at the Hoopheads Podcast Network. It is sincerely appreciated. Believe me, right now, as always, it is sincerely appreciated. Well, you never can say that the Lakers aren't a giving team. And why do I say that? Because earlier today, a great friend of the show and a truly just remarkable individual and one of my favorite interviews ever, and will always be that way, Rafael Barlowe, a man who decided, if you didn't hear his latest show on the Locked On NBA Draft podcast, that he is moving to Europe. He's moving to Spain. He's moving overseas to go ahead full time and follow his dream once again of following the NBA draft ready players overseas and to become an international scout and international liaison for everything draft related over there. And in the process, he did in the past few weeks ask the woman who he asked his girlfriend to become his wife. And she said yes, and we were so happy here. So lo and behold, this morning, he goes ahead and he gets married to that wonderful young lady. And where does he do it at? He does it in the shadows of the Eiffel Tower in Paris. And if you go ahead to Barlow 500, or you go to NBA Draft Junkies, or you go to his Facebook page, you will see the tremendous photos of him getting married with the Eiffel Tower in tow. Why am I connecting this to the Lakers game and how giving the Lakers can be? Because his favorite team, if you've heard him on the show, is the Portland Trailblazers. And in doing so, the Lakers gave him probably one of the best wedding gifts that they can. They let themselves be beat down for an entire game by the Portland Trailblazers in a game that wasn't even nearly as close as the final score indicated, as they got their butts kicked by the Portland Trailblazers 105-90 in a game that they were down by as many as 34 points. Bree Marco is here, and Bree Marco, we're glad to have you here. Thank you so much for the heart. We truly need it. Yes, it is so sad for the Lakers, but it was a situation where they got behind early. They played terrible defense. They couldn't muster any offense. And on top of that, adding injury to insult, Anthony Davis hurt his thumb and was out for the rest of the game. So
insult to injury.
Well, that's I put in the comments, but this time it's injury to insult on top of everything else. So I will tell you right now, it was just not a pretty game to watch if you're a Lakers fan. But here today to talk about what's going on with the game, the injury, which we'll update you on in full here in a second, what we're reading off of Twitter. And speaking of Twitter, the number one trending term in basketball is Westbrook. And he's going to tell me why I should be not concerned. He's a good man indeed. You got to go ahead and check out what he's doing today at Lakerholics.com. His latest and greatest articles are there, which we'll talk about at the very end of the show. This is LakerTom and LakerTom. You know, you keep trying to put up those flowers and roses and all that good stuff, but you know what? Today I'm not going to go ahead and argue too much because my good friend, Mr. Rafael Barlowe, he got married.
Well, it was really great news when I heard that Rafael got married, and I'd seen the earlier comments that he was going to move overseas. So congrats to him, man. I mean, not a better guy to get an opportunity, and exciting. And man, you have to almost envy the guy for making a move like that. So
he's following his dreams.
Hope everything for the best for him.
Absolutely. He's following his dreams, and I'm so happy for the both of them, and I wish them continued success.
As for the game, It is
You're
only
not very
one
happy.
game, and we're missing LeBron and AD. Sure wasn't anything positive that you could take from the way that the guys who were there didn't step up. Seems like when we get up 26 or 18 or 19 that we always blow it and at least give the other team a chance. But in this particular case, I sure didn't have any confidence that we were going to make any headway.
Nope.
I mean, starting from the, first I understood that AD was going to play. So that was good news. Okay. Then there was a tweet that Doumbouya and
Sekou Doumbouya
and the other Jay, what's his name? The other two-way player was going to play.
Oh,
Huff.
Yes, Huff.
So
7-footer.
Why would the Lakers have posted those two guys to be ready to play unless they were somehow expecting to get blown out?
Jay Huff, to let everyone know, he's out of Virginia, 7-footer. Slow, lumbering, but he might have some ability as a stretch five. Yeah.
At any rate, the minute I read that tweet, I sort of felt like, boy, the Lakers expect this to be a blow up, and of course Dame continuing to shoot terribly until the night before.
They played a back-to-back. This was a back-to-back for them,
right? You'd expect that he was going to get red hot against the Lakers. Everybody knew that
because he had a terrible game on Friday.
Yeah, and he's had a terrible start to the season.
Yep.
But here come the Lakers, the perfect opportunity. So, the truth of the matter is that this is not the team we're going to have when we go into the playoffs, folks. It's just not going to be. You're missing AD, you're missing LeBron. Russ can't play this way, or Russ won't be here either. At least he won't be starting. He'll end up being the second guy to take over when LeBron doesn't have the ball in his hands.
1 for 13 tonight.
Russ was horrible tonight. The decision making and the sort of ignoring of the context and situation of the game, the score and the trend and the way that the way everything was flowing in the game. It's like Russ has most point guards, at least traditional point guards in the sport, even through the modern NBA, have been guys who really could run an offense, and really could direct people around and really could read what the defense was giving and make the appropriate plays. And as a result of that, create plays both for themselves and for their teammates. Russ is a different animal. That's all I can say about that, because what he does is he just charges in there like a bull and uses athleticism and quickness and pure relentlessness to create shots for himself and other people, but at a high cost of turnovers and so forth. And when he plays in a game without AD and LeBron, it's like giving him a bright green light to go ahead and do whatever he wants to do. And he didn't do it, and he didn't do it well. And he can't keep doing it, or it's going to become a major problem. I don't know. What do you do at that point in time? You trade him for Kyrie, or you trade him for Simmons?
Can't get an even return on that. That's the problem. The Lakers will have to have more at this rate.
Yeah.
Felix is out there. He just wanted to say he watched Shake My Head. What a mess. Bree Marco, again, so sad for the Lakers. This is going to be still very much
we're going to get a couple of weeks of this, probably, at least until THT and Nunn return, and LeBron, and all three of those probably are a couple of weeks away. So you're going to have 2 weeks of how many games? That's probably 7 or 8 games.
Something like that. It's seemingly this is going to be something
7 or 8 games. I haven't looked at the schedule. You ought to pull it up, Gerald. It's probably an appropriate subject to look at right at the moment.
Well, that's what I can do right now. But yeah, it is something that we're going to be seeing an extended period of time off for both those guys. And this is something that's going to be of concern, because Russell Westbrook is Russell Westbrook right now. Right. Something I had told you about when the trade happened. This was exactly the Russ that you're going to get.
Russ hasn't shown us anything that we haven't seen before.
But that's why we shouldn't have traded him in for the first place.
Yeah, but by the same token, this team has been shorthanded from the beginning. The two most expensive non-superstar players haven't played a single minute. The guy's making $15 million. That $15 million is money that should have been spent and probably had intended to be spent on the two guys who were going to be the starters along with the big three, which was Kendrick Nunn, who we paid $5 million, and THT, who we signed for $10 million. We don't have anything else other than minimum salary players. And, you know, as much as I love some of the guys that we got for minimum salary, and as hard as we competed against other teams to sign some of those guys for minimum salary, no matter how much you love them, you have to realize that there's a reason why they're paid a minimum salary, you know, and it's because regardless of what potential they have and how they might help you because of your situation and your needs, these guys don't make more than the minimum. Nobody's willing to pay them more than the minimum. And it's because they're flawed basketball players at this point in their careers, mostly at the end of their careers. Frankly, what we've seen so far says that these guys that we thought were going to be better, by and large, are about the same as the guys we had last year that we thought were going to be better than the year before. And that's what you get when you're dipping in the well.
But you see what happens though. They leave the Los Angeles Laker land, like what was mentioned right now in the chat by Felix.
Well, but those were
Harrell. He's playing tremendous in Washington.
Well, but those aren't minimum. But wait a minute. That's not fair because those aren't minimum players. Those aren't minimum. Those are MLE quality, $10 million a year players or $12 million a year player in the case of Kuzma.
But you traded away KCP, Kuzma, and Harrell, and what you're getting back is Westbrook. You're getting also Kendrick Nunn and THT. So if right now you have very small returns from what you put into
have to come through or have to be traded for players who can come through and be starters. That's what the finances and common sense says about the team.
And then LeBron and AD can't stay healthy.
Superstars making the max salary and nothing else but minimum salary people, and you got one guy for $10 million and another guy for $5 million, the fourth and fifth highest paid players on the team. They better be good enough to start, and if they can't, then we ought to flip them for somebody who can start.
Well, it's just me, Felix, but between Fortnite and Gabby Dollhouse, as you're saying in the chat, I play a little Fortnite, but that's just me. But I'll tell you what, it is the Lakers once again losing 105-90 in a game that was not as close as the score indicated. I'm back here at LakerTom at Lakerholics.com. Again, it seems like where you have a lot of players after they're leaving the Lakers, it seems like there are very small amount of players that can actually fit and do well in our system. And we talked about how well Carmelo Anthony was doing with the team, but we were only getting with him. You're not getting an every game output from him that you need, like old Melo.
Especially when you don't have LeBron and AD.
Yeah, so today you're going to see a game like this where he is old Melo.
Guys sagged off of people were sagging off of the Lakers guards so badly. Rondo especially and Russ especially. It was like invite him to shoot, and that makes it real hard for anybody else to get open when there's two guys in the lineup that you don't even have to challenge. You don't even have to go out there and put a body in front of them. You can let them shoot the three. That's actually the preferred desired outcome that you're playing that kind of defense for. But the guys that we're got going out there for the next 2 weeks, both as far as the other starters and the key reserves, with the exception of Melo, those guys aren't going to be the guys who are going to be important or are even going to be on the team when we come to the playoffs. This season is starting off exactly like last season in some ways, and hopefully it won't end the same way. Hopefully we'll make better decisions at the trade deadline. We'll make better decisions in the buyout market, but we're going to have to make some moves. We're going to have to make some moves in order to balance this roster and get the wing defense that we need. There are different ways of doing it. And, it just depends what the opportunities are. But they're definitely going to have to make a move because they're not going to do it with this roster unless THT can really all of a sudden hit all of his threes or hit a high percentage of his threes, and none can actually play good enough defense to start at the 2, despite being only 6'2", because those are the guys they paid the money to.
I think I'm going to have to disagree with you on that. The Lakers actually started out strong. They were actually first in the Western Conference until the injury started to go ahead and betray them. They did fall below Utah, and I think at the time AD had his first injury. I think they were in second place, if I remember correctly. But
yeah, they were 21-5. They had a 21-5 start.
Yeah, so that's not starting out the same as what they're right this year. So I'm just going to say that it's really right now very concerning. These are things that I brought up in the offseason with the Westbrook trade and our lack of defensive ability. Felix says we need major moves. Westbrook isn't looking good. Westbrook, again, is supposed to be the superstar that is supposed to be consistent for you game in and game out. And I cannot wait until the second half, like he's done the past 3 seasons, where he's great in the second half. We can't wait that long.
I hope that happens.
You hope that happens. But as he gets older, it's less and less likely to happen. Felix, I do want to say that what happened to AD is his thumb. He's had a thumb injury heading into the game, and it seemed to exacerbate itself and get a little bit worse and hurt himself.
No, they claimed he had a stomach problem. And that's,
he claimed to have stomach, but it was a thumb listed right now on Twitter.
It wasn't related to the thumb. It was a stomach problem, and he had to leave the game.
Okay, because Mike Trudell was saying differently. So I wanted to say right now that it's still a problem, because if he's having that finger injury already, he's having issues with that. He might have to have surgery like we're seeing with THT. So really concerning. I know Dwight Howard was very upset.
That would be a real thumbs down for us.
Yeah, a real thumbs down indeed. But Dwight Howard is really upset because he was talking about the lack of execution, the lack of effort. And you're right. He did wake up, Davis did, with the stomach bug. He did throw up 4 times before the game, and ultimately he only played 7 minutes before he was leaving. So he did have a stomach flu of some kind, plus the hand injury. So he's beginning to get on his nerves too with the lack of attacking. That's what Felix says. So right now we've got a situation where it's really not very good for the Lakers, with hopefully AD maybe feeling better enough by Monday, because that's their next game coming up. But still, you see this team, the supposedly 4, and if you count Dwight Howard, 5 who are supposed to be in the top 75 players of all time. I mean, you can argue about Dwight Howard being on that list. I know we did on our previous episode that we did with Sean Grice, but
wasn't he 75th actually, or something like that?
He was not. There was a tie. There was
75th. Or have they listed an actual?
They didn't last. All they said was that there was a tie for 75th, so that 2 individuals got in. So there's actually 76 players, but Dwight Howard was one of those that was snubbed, and. I think that for everybody out there, he's probably, for me, as far as the resume.
I think somebody said he was 77.
Yeah, well, but I know that on Golden State, they were clowning that Klay Thompson was Mr. Number 77. They even actually got him a jersey that said was number 77 as a joke. But again, the Lakers did fall to the Portland Trailblazers 105-90. Just a terrible performance indeed. I mean, again, this is something that I'm telling you about with Westbrook. He after a couple of promising games, starting to turn the corner, he kept the turnovers down. Things are starting to look better. Then he pulls out a performance like this exactly at the wrong time.
Yeah, well, but it's just one game, and we'll see what happens.
You've told me that.
Yeah, and
that can't be the theme for the season.
It's also because he's not playing with LeBron and AD, man. I mean, there's a big difference. That's the problem with all of our role players. People forget how easy it is for certain guys in certain situations, if you have the right frame of mind, to play with 2 guys like LeBron James and Anthony Davis, because you get such attention. Your defender is always looking the other way at where the ball is in the hands of one of those 2 guys, and it makes your job so easy. It is bright lights, so some guys can't seem to shoot the ball the way that they normally do it when they come to LA. But you see it when they aren't in the game. You see how hard it is, especially when you've got guys like Rondo and Russ out there that other teams are just totally going under. They're not even going under the screens. They are totally sagging off of him and saying, go ahead and shoot. And when he tries to attack them and go into the paint, they're sagging even deeper and saying, go ahead and take the mid-range shot too. We'll let you have that one. It's hard to win it. We're not going to have these same guys. This is not the roster that we're going to have that lost this game tonight. The roster is going to be totally different. It'll have LeBron James. It'll have Anthony Davis. It'll have a Russell Westbrook that has slowly gotten better through the season as he learns what his role is, as he makes some mistakes and as he makes some gaffes, and he learns that in key clutch situations, you better get that ball into LeBron James' hands. And believe me, LeBron will tell him that at some point in time. So I don't think, I think there's a lot of reasons to worry about things in life, but I'm not worried about the Lakers at this point in time. I'm disappointed that we are going to go through a very trying series of games in the next couple of weeks until we get LeBron, THT, and Nunn back. But hopefully in 2 weeks, if we can get them back.
And Davis, if he might be out.
Pardon?
And Davis, if he might be continued to stay out with the stomach bug
or
the
possible.
thumb or whatever else that comes up with him as far as injuries are concerned.
I mean, there's a certain point where you don't want to wear him out trying to do something that's impossible. And if he's not 100%, then I sure wouldn't play him. Now's not the time to have him end up with an injury like THT. I mean, you think these finger injuries are no big deal. And then you see THT missing 4 weeks at least, because of that. Again, just like THT, this is a shooting hand. It's that same damn right thumb for the right-hander.
There you go. But well, hopefully he'll feel better, and maybe we'll be able to return on Monday. We'll wait and see. But Felix, great comments. He's agreeing with you on the next game. Laker Tom, we'll see what happens there. Great to have you aboard, Felix, once again. And also, Bree Marco, wishing you both well. And everybody else that's watching and listening, it is the Lakers Fast Break. Once again, the Lakers did lose 105-90. But before we head on out, I'm going to go ahead and quickly tell everybody what's going on at Lakerholics.com. Jamie Sweet just dropped his latest 5 things about the OKC debacle there. This isn't getting pretty, my friend, when we keep on having to go ahead and talk about this. But the comments
wait a minute now. Jamie was actually very optimistic about it. He actually wrote afterwards that he almost tore up his first draft of it because he thought it was too vitriolic. And he came through with a very constructive. I told him it was really almost realistic, So,
Felix is saying, go Raiders. I don't know about the Raiders right now, especially after the past 3 weeks that they've had with losing John Gruden for the stupid things that he said and wrote about in his emails. And now you had a young man who, his life, and then a young lady whose life is gone because of the poor decisions that he made, because he thought he was invincible as a young individual earning millions of dollars, and you saw what happened. In fact, it happened right here in the city next to me in Henderson. So very tragic way to go. But yes, the Raiders, I guess you're still rooting for them, Felix. They may still pull it out in such a tough season, but we'll see. Felix says we are in Phoenix. Well, yeah, we could be in Phoenix with even the dumber things that are now accused and reported on by ESPN in regards to owner Robert Sarver. So we'll see about all these terrible things. If you check out the article on ESPN, please, because it details greatly with, I guess, what Baxter Holmes interviewing 70 current and former employees of the Phoenix Suns in regards to terrible racist and misogynistic and other just truly reprehensible incidents that were said and done by Robert Sarver. Just really atrocious. And I know the NBA has launched an investigation in him. And for the Portland Trailblazers are doing in their own internal investigation on president of basketball operations, Neil O'Shea. So it's a crazy couple of weeks, my friend, in the basketball world. I'm telling you what, it's just amazing out there. But the Lakers are part of this news cycle, but for all the wrong reasons. So I'm hoping that this next week things will settle down with a few wins. But again, we'll wait and see. But we will be back on both Monday, Wednesday, and Friday with basketball recaps because that's their week ahead for the team. Because you've got, again, Charlotte coming in to the Staples Center on Monday. You've got Miami and the Heat coming in on Wednesday. And then you've got Friday, the Minnesota Timberwolves coming in. And then a week from Sunday, you've got San Antonio coming in. So there's a 4-game homestand.
Got to win 2 of those 4 games.
I think they got to win all 4.
No, you're not gonna beat Miami. Let's be serious.
Oh, see, there you go. There's Mr. Optimistic himself telling
you don't have LeBron. You don't have LeBron. I mean, being optimistic doesn't mean being stupid. You know,
you're the man that's asked for 65.
Just as I've always said about you, glass half empty guys. You know, just being pessimistic doesn't mean you're stupid. It has more to do with your attitude than your intelligence.
Well, you remember you're asking 65. You're the one that's saying 65 to 70 wins. Who's the one that's not looking so great now?
Well, I'll probably have to modify that. I agree on that.
No Felix is saying you can't bet with your heart. You're the guy. You're one of the reasons why Las Vegas is as big as it is because
I've never lost more than $200 or $300 in Vegas or Reno and all of the times that I've gone there gambling.
All right.
I've gambled a lot of money in business, and I've lost a lot of money in business, but I've never lost a lot by gambling, and I've never risked a lot from it.
Well, we'll see what happens.
Not the gambling of sports gambling.
We'll see what happens next time you come to Vegas. But as Felix says, you can't bet with your heart. But once again, the Lakers did lose 105-90.
I don't know if I disagree with that. I think I disagree with that. You can't bet with your heart. Sometimes I think as an individual, betting with your heart really is about betting on yourself. You know, you have to, it just depends on the context of it. Sometimes you do need to bet with your heart.
All right. Well, there you go. All right. Vegas is waiting for you, my friend. Vegas is waiting. You know, they do give out comps to big spenders. I'll just leave it at that.
They do. Right.
Yeah, absolutely. My brother-in-law's hotel, El Cortez, just turned 80 today. So there, go with them, man. Great place to go. I'll send you down there, my friend. They take good care of you right there at the El Cortez. But it is the Lakers once again. He said we're not playing in LA. Yeah, Felix. But they were playing a back-to-back in Portland. Portland was playing a second game of back-to-back. They were tired, but it didn't show today because the Lakers did lose 105-90 in a game I think we'd rather soon forget. In 2 weeks, I think we'd rather soon forget. But hopefully this week will be a lot better for the team as they come back for a 4-game homestand. Yeah. Felix, we wish you all the best and good night. Safe travels this weekend. And to everybody else, thank you so much for watching and listening. If you have any questions for Laker Tom, or if you want to vent, 2 places to go, at Laker Tom on Twitter, or also as well, a great place to go as part of the venting process, as I've seen so far. Some great comments there is at Lakerholics.com. I get all the notifications on what is being said and done. So I don't even have to go to Lakerholics.com, but you do. And when you do, you see the great conversations that are there. But for me, if you got a question for me or some comments about the Lakers that you want me to read on there, I'll be glad to go ahead and do it. Just hit me up at Lakers Fast Break on Twitter or Lakers Fast Break at yahoo.com. Well, Laker Tom, we got through it. I thank you very much for your patience. And again, the Lakers in a way that they can, they gave a beautiful and wonderful gift to our good friend Rafael Barlowe tonight, who again, I wish him and his beautiful young wife, Mrs. Barlowe, the tremendous, all the success and all the wonderful things in the world that life can provide for them. Truly just fantastic thing that happened between them today, getting married in Paris at the foot of the Eiffel Tower. Just really happy for them both and wishing them continued success and happiness for a lifetime. And the way the Lakers did it is they gave them a nice gift by losing 105-90 against the Portland Trailblazers. But we will be back on Monday. We're going to stick it out. We're going to go for it. We're going to continue to be there for you, Lakers fans. We'll be back to endure this up and down season yet again as it continues on Monday against the Charlotte Hornets. We'll see what this ball brother can do as the LaMelo Ball invades the Staples Center. So we'll see what happens with this game and how good the Lakers can look. And we'll let you know how the game turns out when we recap it on Monday night after the game right here at the Lakers Fast Break Podcast. Congratulations, Rafael. Wishing you both all the best.